Hey, everybody, welcome to the Forking Around Town podcast. And today I am joined by my good friend CT, who is recently, I have to say, become one of my favorite fitness ambassadors. You are doing phenomenal. I have to say, I'm very proud of everything you're doing. It's awesome. Well, yeah, I wanted to bring you on today because as we are now just days away from October, it's that dangerous time of year where there's so many parties, so much food, so many temptations. And a lot of people have a hard time this time of year. They don't know how to exercise willpower. They just eat, drink, and be merry. And then all of a sudden there are one of those that's in the gym on January 1st. So I wanted to chat with you today a little bit about that. And you're so involved with so many things that I think would be great to share with others who might want to get a little more prepared for this time of year. So,
yeah, of course. Of course.
All right. Well,
I guess do you want me to start? Where do you want me to start with this?
Well, first and foremost, I wanted you to share a little bit about your relationship with Urban Flow in St. Pete and how they're such a great company. I'm so glad that I've had the chance to meet with them. So I wanted to share a little bit about them and specifically for people in Tampa Bay, how they can seek out alternatives to save calories and cut back on alcohol and still enjoy the party.
Yeah, totally. So I have been privileged to work with Mike and Caitlin over at Urban Flow officially, I guess now for about 4 months. Been going there ever since I started my sobriety journey at the beginning of this year. I started with dry January like everyone else who does this, but I decided to make it more of a thing. And for me, it was specifically about the calories. It was about the intake I was bringing into my body versus the output I wanted, the calories in, calories out that a lot of people preach about when they talk about their diet. Beer is a killer, not just because of the alcohol, which that's a big part of it. It destroys your muscle metabolism and all that, but just calories. I was drinking 300 calorie IPAs regularly. And so I met Mike and Caitlin and our relationship grew. And since then, I've got my shirt on now. They are sponsoring my races. So recently I did a triathlon, my second triathlon down on Fort DeSoto, and rep their company with this really cool shirt. It basically kind of shows all the different elements that we have there. We have functional mushrooms, we have non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic wine. We are Florida's first non-alcoholic bottle shop. So what is that? It's like a liquor store, but no liquor. We have functional mushrooms, functional herbs, we have CBDs, we have legal THC, we have non-alcoholic beers and wines and cocktails. And so for me, it has been just like the piece I needed to that puzzle. I love the social aspect of drinking and having something in my hand and ticking that beer on Untapped, and a place like Urban Flow has given me the opportunity to find new beers. Like this one is out of the UK and it's called Sorbetto. It tastes like an Italian like sorbet.
I love it.
Yeah, it's quite delicious. So you still have the options to drink delicious things and not feel like the weirdo. And I recognize that that statement's a loaded statement of should we feel like a weirdo if we're at a party being sober? No, we should not. But society, TV, advertisements, magazines, influencers make you feel like a weirdo. Like everywhere you turn, there's a bus driving by with a gin advertisement or a liquor or, let's get, twisted on this, twisted teas. It's everywhere. It's pervasive.
It really
people
is.
People are watching sports where we're watching these finely tuned athletes run through a script or whatever you want to call it and do these amazing athletic feats. And then they're like sponsored by Miller Lite. And you're like, really? Do you think anyone on the field in these perfect specimens of humans is drinking a heavy? No, they're not. They're drinking water. They're their diet's so curated. But
not all reason, of them, though. You'd be surprised. Yeah, I've seen some football players throw down.
This is true. But I mean, as a general health thing, alcohol is it's everywhere. And so Urban Flow has given me the opportunity to be present with my friends. Obviously, I'm not going to all the beer parties I used to because it's just different. I don't want to drink all that beer. But a big difference is these beers while they still have tons of flavor, since you remove the alcohol, the calories drop
Right.
significantly. These sour beers and IPAs go from 300 calories down to 70, 60.
That's
And
great.
so I don't feel guilty drinking them. And you mentioned the holiday season, and part of that also is is that holidays, you've got Halloween where people buying candy and dressing up and starting their drinking. It's getting cold in a lot of places, not in Florida, but a lot of places are
Mm.
starting to get cooler and see the leaves change. Then we have Thanksgiving, and then we have Christmas, and then New Year's. It's like three of the biggest drinking holidays.
Right.
And for us beer folk, right now is Oktoberfest, which is another big drinking holiday. And so I'm actually this weekend going to go up to the shop. I've got some lederhosen here in my closet, and I'm going to dress up in that. And you can see my little Oktoberfest hat
I
right
see
here.
that hanging up.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to be wearing that, and just have a little fun with it, trying to still be, enjoying life and
Mhm.
not cutting the fun out, but being more responsible with it is the hope.
Exactly, and being social. It's funny. I was just thinking as you were talking, when I kind of first started out, I didn't really announce to everybody that I had given up alcohol. I was very quiet about it. And part of the reason was because I was actually being judged by so many people, and I just didn't want to hear it. I go to events, and for whatever reason people feel the need to point you out and make a big deal that you're not drinking and ask you a million questions, and it got old for a while. So I would often go to places. I might have a virgin drink or whatever and still post. And like, for example, I went to a taco place, and it was all about tequila. So I told them, because it was far away, I said, listen, I need you to make these drinks without alcohol because I am driving, and I'm not, even if I was drinking, I wouldn't have done that anyway. I've always been very responsible with that. But I was promoting it like I was drinking. And then after a while, I thought, why did I do that? Was it that important to go and get a meal? You know what I'm saying? I should have just been more upfront with it. So after that experience, I started just being very vocal about not drinking.
Hmm.
And I have found, and I'm sure you have too, that you go to a lot of places and it is a challenge to get a lot of these products that you can find at Urban Flow. People are slowly coming around. And that's my biggest dream, is that we'll start to see more varieties of non-alcoholic beer, for example, available at restaurants. I go to a pizza place. I don't care what you
Uh-huh.
say. Beer goes phenomenal with pizza. And they might have like an O'Doul's or something, which I don't want to drink. It's terrible. But it would be nice to see like an Athletic Brewing Company, or even the Bud Zero is really not bad. I'm hoping to
Yeah, and
see that.
it's one of those self-fulfilling prophecies. A lot of these restaurants, they have the worst option ever as their non-alcoholic
Mm.
option, and they don't sell it because it's not good. And then they're like, see, non-alcoholic beers don't sell. And you're
Right.
like, because it's terrible. Like, you're over here with 16 different pizza options, and you have one, I don't know. And like, a recent study just came out saying that the non-alcoholic drink market, so all the beverages we carry at Urban Flow, is on pace to hit $1 trillion industry by 2030. Obviously, it's a little bit of a ridiculous number,
Mhm.
but long and short, people are switching,
Mhm.
not necessarily fully, but to some form of a responsible non-alc space.
Mhm.
Whether they're only drinking one night a month, one night a week, something like that, focusing on the craft of the cocktail, using herbs, and that's the thing for me. It's not just about, I gave up on this day. I'm this many days sober. I've had a shot of whiskey between now and then. I've had a beer between now and then because I was celebrating or whatever. But it's not, for me, it's not the legalistic number. For me, it's about the conscious replacement of the calories, the conscious
Mhm.
replacement of the mind altering alcohol poison. And so I'm not as dogmatic with that yet. Maybe I'll get to that point where I'm completely forswearing off all alcohol. I've trimmed a lot out. I've given a lot of whiskey away. I had a pretty extensive bourbon collection, and I'm just trying to get it out of my place. I just don't want to look at it every day. And so it
Mhm.
was a central focal point of my living room, and now it's not. I've been,
Mhm.
when guests come and stay, I'm like, "Here, do you want, I know it's open, but do you want a bottle of bourbon?" And they're like, "Sure." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Right.
take this away." So, yeah, Urban Flow, they have these amazing options. And going around St. Pete is a pretty friendly mocktail town. We did a
Mm-hmm.
mocktail walk this past weekend
I
where
saw
we started on one side of Central and just walked. It was super hot, so I actually met in the middle. But
that.
we had like I think 8 or 9 different locations that were offering mocktails and varieties that to encourage people to just have fun and be safe. And we're in the process of allowing these places to not just have the one offer,
Mm-hmm.
to have multiples, whether it's non-alcoholic wine, whether it's non-alcoholic beer, whatever it is, showing people that they can coexist with the normies of the
Mm-hmm.
drinking world. And a big catchphrase right now is representation matters. In every way, shape, and form. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, gender, race, whatever, but people that have made the active choice or have been forced to make the choice to stay away from alcohol, it's tough sometimes to be social with friends when you don't feel heard, when you don't
Mm-hmm.
feel seen. I just had a conversation with one of my good friends this past weekend. There was a big beer event over in Tampa, and they were like, "Hey, are you coming to this?" I'm like, "Why would I go to that? It's a 50-minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
It's sure I'd see friends, but there are no non-alcoholic offerings. And the space where it was at actually actively makes fun of the non-alcoholic space.
Oh,
Like,
you'll
why
have
would I
to
go
tell
into that?
me who that is
Yeah.
offline later.
Yeah, like why would I go into that
Mhm.
when I know it is completely targeted not only not at me but against me, making fun of me with their t-shirts and stuff, which don't get me wrong, I've been in that space, I've made fun of that, and
Mhm.
I've been that jerk. But like, why would I go to that? Like, why would I go to that when I can go here into a mocktail walk where people are embracing it? Like,
Right.
there's I don't know, and like, yes, I missed my friends, but like, it's just not worth it anymore nowadays. That's so like, a common catchphrase we say is it's closed minded. It's restrictive, and at the end of the day, businesses are made to make money. There may be some philanthropic outreach. There may be some, passive goal that the owners have. Sure, but at the end of the day, they've got to make money, or else they can't stay open.
Mhm.
And what we're seeing right now is a wave of demand for non-alc.
Mhm.
And right now, Athletic is riding that wave. They're going to be the number 15 brewery in America, not just out non-alc, all breweries, because they are available the most. You
Mhm.
know, all the big boys, Budweiser, Miller, all them, they're upping their Corona, Guinness. They're all upping their 0.0 offerings
Mhm.
because they see that they're losing money and they're scared of losing money. They were scared of losing money in the craft business 10 years ago, so they started buying up craft breweries. Now they're selling those off and they're focusing on non-alc. They're following the money.
Mhm.
And plain and simply, these restaurants and bars that don't follow this wave are losing money. And at the end of the day, ones and zeros, they're losing, you know?
Mhm.
And so us that are, we that are trying to be better with our alcohol consumption and caloric intake and all that, like hopefully we get a benefit from this.
Right, right. I will say, I think one of my favorite non-alcoholic beers is the Corona. It really does taste pretty darn close. I gave it to a
It
friend of
actually
mine.
does.
It does. Yeah, I gave it to a friend of mine. It was like a blind tasting. She had no idea. She loves Corona and she
Hmm.
swears to me she had no idea that it was non-alcoholic. So I would love to, I haven't seen it yet at any restaurants. I'm hoping soon, especially some of the, Taco Tuesday. It'd be kind of cool to
Yep.
see that. I'm sure it'll be coming. I haven't been getting out as much as I would like to lately. I've been a little busy with work, but if you know of any places that have it, let me know. I only really see Heineken Zero as the only other offering aside from maybe like a No Duels or something. I haven't seen any others anywhere.
Yeah, the country bar downtown St. Pete has the 0.0 Guinness. Heineken
Mm-hmm.
0.0 is that Silly Goose, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bench carries some good, carries Athletic. The new brewery opened Golden Isle. They're going to have a pretty good non-alc selection. So it's cropping up. I funny enough, we worked Mike and I from Urban Flow. We worked
Mm-hmm.
the Brews Bands and something else
Was it
festival.
barbecue?
No, it was at Amelie a couple weeks ago. It was like inside
Okay.
Bolts, Brews, and Bands
Yes,
or
that
something
I
like
know
that.
exactly.
And we were the designated driver table. We were the sober table. And, we were unloading with all these other breweries and people kind of looking at us like, oh, you're doing non-alc stuff. And we're like, yeah, we are. And I cannot tell you how many, because I wasn't counting, but I heard from several paying customers tell us that the beer we had was their favorite beer of the whole night. We
Mhm.
were serving this beer from Brutalist King State called Florida Showers and Six Toes, which is a sour, IPA and a sour. And literally, there were people that were coming back for it. And then after they were at it, like, wait, this is non-alcoholic. I don't want non-alcoholic. You're like, you just said you loved it. And they're like, what? The one I drank was non-alcoholic. You're like,
Mhm.
everything on this table is non-alcoholic. And they're like, but it tasted good. And I'm like, exactly. Like,
Mhm.
there is good. And so it's been kind of cool to see that. It's cool to see the change. So cheers to more of
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. In fact, Urban Flow was my very first experience trying Athletic Brewing Company. They were at the Brunched event, which Creative Loafing hosts every year. And I just remember going into the event thinking, I'm going to be surrounded by Bloody Marys and mimosas. And like, those are two drinks that I have always loved. Like, those two, they just go hand in hand with brunch. And I was a little worried, but I have to say, when I found their table, it just really brought a huge smile to my face because they had bellinis and mimosas and everything
Mm-hmm.
was, I forget the name of the winery. It's from Italy. It really is one of the better ones I've tried. And I need to make it over to Urban Flow to pick up a bottle or two. But yeah, I've only
Yeah.
been there once and I had a hard time deciding. It's very easy to get lost in all of their selections. They have done a phenomenal job. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. Yeah. So, like, what I always try to tell people is, I get a lot of people that reach out to me and, like, how have you been so consistent for the last year of not drinking and eating good and working out? And the thing is you, with anything in life, you have to start somewhere. And it does take your body a while to get used to it. I was going through, I don't know what, it took me a while. It took me about 3 months to lose 10 pounds because I did it the smart way. I didn't want to do any crash diets. I just tried to start introducing things into my life that were healthier. And then once I got into a rhythm, it just flowed from there. And now I tell everybody I'd rather eat my calories than drink them because I love food. And I haven't struggled with anything. I'm happier as far as physically than I think I've been in quite some time. And I love it. It's there's just options and it's fun and I love discovering new products and I've met an incredible community of people. I actually had someone reach out to me the other day. They're planning, and we'll talk offline about this, but they're looking for a place in the Tampa Bay area that will hold your cat, 30 people. Your
Yeah,
cat wants
Giddy.
to be on.
Giddy is a camera person, so she's
How
all about it.
funny.
Sorry.
No,
She
that's
likes being on
okay.
camera.
That's okay. But yeah, it was kind of cool that someone reached out to me from another state saying, like,
Mhm.
I've been watching your journey. We're hosting this event in November and then another one, I think, in January. And I thought, this is really cool. I'm excited about this and to meet some other people that are flying into Tampa for this event. But yeah, I tell everybody just, plan ahead. If you know you're going to a party, it's like a house party and you don't want to drink, bring something with you that's non-alcoholic so you don't. It's
Yep.
sad that we have to do that in a way. It's like, who cares if you're not drinking? But it's just easier. It helped me get through it. And then
I
all of a
mean,
sudden you don't care anymore. You're
it
proud to not
is
drink.
it is sad, but at the same time, flip it around. If you plan on drinking, like if you're going to a party and you want to drink, if you like, I was a picky drinker. I didn't want to drink Bud Light. I didn't want to drink tea,
I
like
got
just plain vodka. I'm a bougie person. I wanted to drink good beer and good liquor. So I had to plan. Like when I was showing up to a party, I would bring my own 6 pack, 12 pack, whatever I want to drink, because I'm not going to drink theirs. I'd bring some for the host too. But like I had to plan ahead to have alcohol. So
you.
why would I expect not to have to plan ahead? Like it'd be nice in if the whole world catered to me, but they don't. So I, you know, why is it any different? You know, if I show up to a party not wanting to drink, why should I expect someone to cater to me? I like you said, plan ahead. Bring the 4 pack, bring the 6 pack that you want,
Mhm.
bring what you want to share with friends, bring a 12 pack. Because at the end of the day, if it's a good enough product, share it with a friend.
Right.
Especially some of the functional drinks out there, the social tonics, the things that are encouraging people to get loose but not be drunk. those are a great thing to share because maybe your friend doesn't want to drink, but they're drinking because that's their only option and they didn't plan ahead. The more
Exactly.
we plan, the better we can help our friends. And that's what friends are
Exactly.
for. And
Right.
so it's like, at the end of the day, yes, there's always going to be that person like, I don't want anything non alcoholic like that. You're duping me. And it's like, okay, dude, I wasn't trying to give it to you anyway. Like, I'm trying to encourage people who might be stuck in the cycle of work all week, drink all weekend, post about how great it is you can finally have wine down time at 5 o'clock, or it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Like, we get in this cycle and we wonder why we hate work, we wonder why we hate all of this. And
Hmm.
that leads to your initial question of like, what's going on in my life. My goal was to try and break those cycles, break that
Right.
cycle of, okay, it's Friday, I'm going to hit breweries. Saturday, I'm hungover, but I'm going to get it going. It's
Yeah.
Sunday, I'm really hungover, but I have one more day of freedom. And it's like, no, like, the human body is capable of so much more than poisoning and trying to repair itself every week.
I
Like,
know. It's
and
true.
that's where my stuff has come in, like with Urban Flow giving me the replacement that I needed. Um, I've been able to get into a great cadence. This summer, I went between jobs, and so I had a lot of free time. I call it a little fun employment, and I could have wallowed, but I spent that time really focusing. I got a coach, um, who teaches me how to swim because I am doing triathlons now, and everyone's weak spot is swimming. Why not make that my best spot? And so, working
That's
on
true.
that. Started biking regularly with Mike and with some other folks on Fridays. We biked the Causeway, and walking more, working out every day, and really looking at my diet. What not just what I'm drinking, whether it has alcohol or not, but actually looking at the ingredient list. And like,
Mm.
if you can't pronounce it, why are you putting it inside of you? I get it that sometimes we have to have a medicine or whatever, but like, Americans rely on pharma for everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
We just believe everything we're told, and it's not true. Food is medicine. And Urban Flow, I'm working with one of my coworkers there to take the list of all the herbs and nutrients that I think I need, the multivitamins, everything like that. How can I get it without having to take a pill? Whether it's, a vegan replacement shake that I drink, or whether it's, honey, or like Manuka honey, or whether it's a ginger turmeric shot that I take in the morning, or, whatever it is, like looking at like, okay, your body probably should have this mushroom, these adaptogens, these nootropics, all these words that we've made up and put on cans to make people buy things. There are elements that are part of that. And
Hmm.
so I'm working with her. She's an herbalist. And so I'm
Hmm.
trying to make sure, I'm a big guy. I need to make sure I'm maintaining my protein, maintaining my caloric intake for my basil. But like, it's so much more than just eating a piece of bread. Like, we need to look at what's in it. And so
Right.
that's another thing Urban Flow is really helping with. But I'm mixing that in with my working out. And the big thing for me this holiday, so this will be my first sober stretch.
Yeah.
For me, it's not like a triggering thing. I know a lot of people have that triggering element of like, I'm going to be with family, I'm going to be with this, I have to have a drink. And I'm not even downplaying that. That is real. Like,
Hmm.
one of my friends' girlfriend spends a lot of time with his family, and his family is very pro alcohol, which is great. They're in the most drinking state in America, if anyone knows that trivia.
Which one
Um,
is it?
oh, Wisconsin.
I was thinking that. Okay. Makes sense.
And sometimes it's hard because when she shows up to these events, she used to be that girl with the drink in her hand, and now she's not. And whether it's on her or whether it's on the family, we don't know. But like, the fact that like there are options now to show up to, it could be a hyo with just some functional mushrooms. It could be, an ashwagandha L-theanine drink. It could be a non-alcoholic beer. Whatever it is, you're still, and it's not like, oh, you're part of the club, it was peer pressure. No, it's just something that makes us feel comfortable. And if it makes
Right.
you feel comfortable and allows you to be yourself, why are we knocking it? Why are we making fun of these
Exactly.
people? Like, like, it, it's just tough. We've spent
Mhm.
so much time spinning our wheels saying we need to accept everybody, which is great, we need to love everybody, but like, then we sit there and make fun of people for having a non-alcoholic beer.
Mhm. Hey,
And like,
listen, I was that person when I was a bartender. I used to when someone would come in the door and I knew that they didn't drink, I would think to myself, oh, great, I'm not getting a tip from this person. And I was like that for many years because that's how I was conditioned to believe it. I remember when I first started bartending, this bartender who was my manager at the time, he used to, every time someone would walk in the door, he'd say, oh, here comes orange juice over there, or here comes whatever. He knew from the minute they walked in the door what they were going to order to drink and how much they were going to tip. And that just became a fun little game I played, and I used to laugh at people. You don't want to drink? Like, why are you in a bar? And yeah, hey, I was that person. I will say this though. The one thing that really bothers me is people that act like they drink on social media and they don't. There's an influencer I know who has never had a drop of alcohol, and she's out there posting about beer and promoting it, and she does not drink. I'm like, are you that thirsty? You got to do that. Anyway, it's just a little pet peeve of mine. Exactly.
Yeah,
just be who you are. Don't lie about it.
And for me, it's tough. I was deep in the beer game, and I miss a lot of my friends in that. And it's just, but I'm very vocal. Like I know some people want to just have the can in their hand, and they don't want it to say non-alcoholic anywhere. Like that's the nice thing about this mash can. It doesn't scream non-alcoholic. When you look at that, it looks like a normal beer.
It's a good looking can.
But at the end of the day, some people want that. For me, I'm proud. I'm proud that I was able to kick this super expensive, super caloric habit. I'm proud that I was able to turn that corner. And so I want people to ask, because I'm a maven in that I love being the knowledgeable person, but I'm also a salesperson in that I like spreading that knowledge. And so I want someone to ask so I can tell them. Let me mansplain to you why there's non-alcoholic beer and what the difference between non-alc and alcohol-free is. let me tell you about this. And it's I'm just a technical nerd, and like it's funny, people even harp on that. They're like, I mean, you're non-alcoholic, but that says it's 0.5%. And I'm like, all right, let me just pause you right there, bucko. It's not a linear path. A. B is, so having 10.5% beers is not the same as having 5% beer. Sure, the amount of alcohol in your body is the same, but the way your body processes it when you distribute it slower is a lot different than if you shotgun it or if you do it 50% or whatever. There's a big difference in how our bodies react. Second, if you've ever eaten a ripe banana, you've had 0.5%, because bananas are between 0.4 and 0.6% alcohol when they're ripe.
I didn't know that.
If you've ever had rye bread or whole wheat grain bread, they have alcohol in it. If you've ever eaten an old orange or drank old orange juice, it's got alcohol in it. Like alcohol is a product of yeast and sugar. It's going to happen. So, these purists, I get it. Some people are very triggered by any amount, and I'm not judging them. What I am judging right now is the naysayers that are like, you're not even non-alcoholic. That has 0.5. Like, come on, lay off.
That's ridiculous, honestly.
We're making waves.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know you're on a little bit of a time crunch. It's got to get going, but there has never been a better time than now to start exploring alcohol-free options. I think, in today's world, there are so many fun products that you can try. And what I also like to tell everybody, we're getting ready. We're coming into that holiday season. Don't be the person that waits until January to start getting serious about health. Start now. Take baby steps. You can avoid gaining that holiday weight if you just start now. Start slowly. Start with walking or something, because you know how it is. It's the same thing every year. January, the gyms are crowded. It lasts about a month here in Tampa. Once Gasparilla hits, they're gone. But it really is a good time, and you're going to feel better. And it is kind of, for me, when you are working out, it makes you feel better about yourself, and you don't want to waste any of your efforts, by consuming too many sweets or indulging in too many drinks. You start to really slow down and think about it, and it does help. So now's the time to get started. Anyways,
I mean, just the easiest way to lose that 10 pounds in January is to not gain it in December.
Exactly.
Plain and simply. And like you said, plan ahead, because here's the thing. We all have holiday parties. We have New Year's, we have Thanksgiving, we have stressor moments. And if you show up to one of these saying, I want to do better, I don't want to drink hard, and you don't have an alternative, we're human. We get stressed and we look for
Mhm.
the easiest way out sometimes, and that could be alcohol, it could be drugs. And if you're planning now, it's still September. We still got some time. Go into a place like Urban Flow. We're in Tampa Bay, St.
Mhm.
Petersburg, and you know that. But I know Indiana has an amazing bottle shop. New York has a bunch of them. LA
They
is
do.
covered with them right now. Go in and go to some samples. Try some different liquors that are non-alcoholic to see what you like. That way
Mhm.
you know ahead of time, so you're not trying to figure it out last minute. That way you can see, what does ashwagandha do to me? Does it actually help with my social anxiety? What about cordyceps? Do I get energy from that? Like, get your body chemistry under wraps now,
Mhm.
so that when you go to the parties later, you know what you need. Maybe
Exactly.
maybe maybe you want a high-o, and maybe you want an element or whatever the drinks is. Get your combo, get your mix. I have my mix. I had a Rockaway energy drink today in the middle because I have 4 a.m. or 4:45 swims on Wednesday. So I had my Rockaway energy in the middle of the day. I love that drink. Literally made a post about it because every ingredient I can pronounce. I love it.
I need
It's
to
all
try it.
organic. Yeah, it's delicious. And they have like energy, sleep, calm, immunity, and defense. So it's like,
Okay.
that's the thing. So you get what you need now. So you're ready. You're prepared. Semper
Yeah.
paratus, right? It's the motto of the Boy Scouts.
I love it. I love it. Well, now tell everyone how they can find and follow you on social media because you've got some interesting stuff going on. I have to say, I enjoy
Yeah.
your sunsets and sunrises, all the stuff you do.
Yeah. So I wanted to spread my posts around. I realized when I had a beer account, I have a beer account and I have a fitness account. And there's a lot of beer accounts that go through these fitness waves. Like you say in January, I'm
Hmm.
losing all this weight. They start posting all these push up videos, and you're like, dude, I follow you because you're a beer account. Like, I don't want to
Right.
see you do push ups.
Yeah.
Or you follow a travel account, and all of a sudden they start posting nothing but hot dogs and beer, and you're like, I mean, I want to see sunrises, like. So I made the conscious decision to kind of spread mine around. And so right now, like on the back of my shirt, it says at ct.in my shoes, and that's a throwback to, or a throw to the before you judge a man, walk a mile in his shoes.
Hmm.
And my hope with my fitness channel is to say I'm not some 8-pack wearing, you know, person who sprints triathlons. I walk them. I don't call it running a race. I call it racing because I don't run. I walk them. But everyone can do it. And you
Hmm.
can start from where I am. Sit in the back. We call it party in the back for a reason. And so walk a mile in people's shoes before you judge that guy who's sweating on the treadmill. He's on the treadmill. She's on the stair stepper. Like, give her benefit
Right.
of the doubt here.
Right.
And so CT in my shoes is my fitness account. That's where you'll see me right now. I'm on a sunrise streak. I think I'll be I did 60 today, and trying to challenge myself to wake up earlier.
I
And then
need
on
to
the
do
other
that.
side, oh yeah, it
I'm the
changes your
worst.
life.
I'm the worst.
On
I'm
the
just
other
saying.
on the other side, I had Journey of Brews.
Mhm.
That's my beer account, and basically my thought there was I was between jobs, and so this was my job, my Journey of Brews. I was hitting breweries. Um, Before I quit the alcohol side of things, I went to 1,414 breweries. I've
Mhm.
had 19,000 unique beers on Untapped. I've spent a lot of money and time planning out trips. And, last New Year's, I did a road trip to Jacksonville through Miami, and I hit, I think, 28 breweries in 4 days or something,
Wow.
31 breweries. It's just the way I am. And so my journey of brews. But now that page has been adjusted to a non-alcoholic, a non-alc space of Journey of Beers because or Journey of Brews because when I met with Mike and Caitlin, Mike has amazing knowledge with CBD, with THC, with functional side of things. We have our herbalist, but the beer space, is a little bit, kind of gray area. And so I've been
Mhm.
working with him with some of our local breweries, with some of our local spots to really increase our beer knowledge. We did a beer class because I don't want to just throw away that experience. I think, like we said, that wave coming in,
Right.
there's a need for the beer knowledge to be there and to help
Exactly.
the other beer nerds move from alcohol to non-alcohol. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, you can follow me either spot.
Okay.
You'll see the cat that you saw jump in. She actually has her own Instagram. So you'll see her make guest appearances. You'll see, hopefully I really want to get out and fork one of these restaurants with you one of these days, but
I'm good at
You know,
that. Yeah, I
yeah,
am.
you're just forking around, and I love
I
it.
know.
So,
I know.
um, yeah, and I'm looking right now at trying to figure out my race calendar. I know you just did the
PB&J
PBJ.
run. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 15K. I'm looking at the 10K for Rolling Oats, and then I'm thinking the Clearwater Half Marathon is going to be something I'm
End
targeting,
of
and then
January.
probably, yeah, end of January, and then in between the Coffee Pot Turkey Trot 5K. So
Okay.
I don't know, just kind of looking around right now, but you'll see me in my bright yellow shirt as I'm in the back, and you're done well before me. I'll be the one dying on the way in, and
That won't be
then
it.
I'll be shotgunning the beer in the parking lot because it's my tradition to shotgun a beer.
You have to.
So,
You have to. And beer does taste so good after a race, I have to say. Like,
hmm
that's the one time I was never a big beer drinker, but I would always crave it after running. And all of these wonderful race organizations in Tampa Bay do a fantastic job with having plenty of beer after, and great
hmm
sponsors like Three Daughters Brewery and things like that. Well, I will be in Clearwater too. I'm planning on doing the full marathon. So unless I get injured or something, knock on wood, I plan on being there on January 28th. So yes, I am.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just started my official training. But anyway, thank you very much. I know you have an event to go to, so I hope you have a great time. I can't wait to hear about it.
Thank
And
you.
you're welcome. And everyone else, guys, don't forget, follow me on Instagram at Tracy Forks Around Town. And I have to correct myself. My YouTube channel is Forking Around Town. I think last time I said Tracy Forks Around Town, but I kept it the same as a podcast because that's where you can find all of these podcasts. And I'm very, very, very late to the party, but please go to YouTube and subscribe because I need you to. It's new. I've only got a few videos up, but I'm trying. So yes, YouTube, Forking Around Town. Thank you, CT. Have a great time. I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to chat with you and hear about your event. And everybody, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.